All right, so let's do another exhilarating watch me swim, which is fun. We'll get to figure out what's going on here. I did 550s with paddles, a pull set, although I was still kicking, so it wasn't really a... Well, I guess you're always pulling and swimming, but it didn't have any pool buoys in me. I don't like doing that. It's kind of stupid. So anyways, what's my point? So let's just go, right? Those are... Oh, right, I just jumped in, right? I wasn't doing that. I'm like, did I load the right video in here? Yes. All right, so, oh boy, I was gonna put it on yes. Okay, so now the perennial question is what counts as going? Is it on the 60? You know, you're going on the top here, or is it you have to, right? We're gonna look at that booty. So the point is, I'm gonna count basically if my foot is still on the wall, right? I'm just gonna do it that way. So these are actually gonna be slow compared to that. Let's see where the 59, well, actually, we can see where the 0 begins, right? Okay, so the 0 begins on 32.179, and we officially leave, we officially leave on the 509. So again, if this is how we're going to start counting this, and I think we should, we were off by, 3/10 here. And that's going to be very important because... Let's see where we end. Now, this is a pull set and with a little bit of kick in there. So it's you got these big ass dinner plates on. It feels really good to go super fast, And even without a dive, it just feels good. Anyways, let's continue. Let's go to the end here. 20, what is it? Oh, 19 world record? No, I don't know. But the point is, let's see here. Okay, so 22... This is, well, it's not even, let's not even tease that. It's not a 22, but it could be. Look at that. So we are at 54,941. So we left on the 509, and this is a 22, okay? So you can see the hand, 23, look at that. So turn to 23 right here. And again, we said it's about 3/10 of a second. Right? So if we left when we should have or whatever, I think we could have done a 22 something, but let's just figure this out. So I touched right here. Let's count this. So this is 271. All right? So 55, let's see here, 32. So this is basically a 23. Well, that still would be a 23-1, I think. It'd be a very early 23. Well, hold on. Okay, right. So I left. Okay. Right. Okay, so this. Okay, I'm very confused here. I'm super confused. All right, let's see here. It turned 0 on... Right, 193 or 179. That's not exact, the last couple. So that's when it turned 0. And we hit the wall on 23.1. So this is a 23.1. Okay? That's pretty good because, again, we did leave like 3/10 late. So we're going to say this is a 23. But, if we're counting it, it could have been a 22, a pretty late 22. This could have been a 22. Okay? So next time we do a pull set, we'll just have to sort of figure that out, that my foot has to be on the wall when it's 0, but I can push off. And I think I'll also push off a little harder as well, because I kind of half-ass. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what the official, numbers are on that or when I can leave, but we'll play around with that. But this is pretty good. I mean, this is a 23.1, probably 22 something. So that's pretty good. Now it is a pull set, blah, blah, blah. Now, I did get slower as I got here, so I didn't get anything better. The first one was the best one. No warm-up. Just let's fucking go, right? So an early 23, really late 22. All right, let's see number 2 here. We're on the 41 here. All right, now when do we leave here, right? So my butt's in the air. Yeah, it is, No, I take forever. Because, see, I'm also, like, just holding on there. You know, like I know I'm not going to kick off too early here. See, look at that. I'm still on the wall. So the 0 is, in fact, 18,537. I'll say that's off the wall already. So that was 669. So that's a tenth of a second. That's fine. That's a good leaving. Okay. And then it's a 23 something maybe. So we'll see. We can see the clock go by. Let's see when it hits the 23. Oh, hits the. You can see me splashing. All right. You can see that coming in. Whoop, 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 whoop. So that's touching. That's definitely touching. That's probably touching too. I just don't want to jam my hand in there as hard as I can. So we're going to count that. So that is a 22.1. So that's a late 23. What, 23.7? Because it will turn. Yeah, that's a 23. Yeah, we'll say that's a 23.7, and we left good, so it's a 23.7. We'll say it's a 23.7-ish, somewhere around there. That's pretty good. Let's see here, number 3. All right, let's see where we leave off. Yeah, all right, so 59. Okay, it turns some, let's say that's 649, and we get off the wall. See, this is a super slow one. Well, not super slow, but 979. So this is a 0.3 of a delay, you know, and here we go. And I want to know if I hit a 23 on this one or, okay, we did. That's probably touching, the tip of it's touching, just the tip. And so we left 649, or 649 is the 0 we left on there. Let's see here, .331. So that would be 0.7 again, 23.7. Because, well, no, hold on. I'm bad with math right now. Hold on. Yeah, let's say it's a 23.7 because it will then go up right here. Yep, that's right. So that's another 23.7, but on this one we left like 0.3, so that really could be a 23.5, but 23.7 is fine. We'll go with that. It was just a slower start. So 23.7 is good. Let's go number 4. I think this is this a 24 or is this a 23? We'll see. Right? All right. So 0, it turns 0 on. Okay, so it turns 0 on the 607. We officially leave, let's say there, because my other foot, I don't know. This is the slowest one we've seen so far. This is basically a little over half a second. This is slow as hell. So let's move here, 23. Yeah, this is going to be tough. Okay, so we still hit it. Look at that. It's clear as day. So this is 577. So this is immediately going to turn 24, isn't it? Yep, that's right. That's as predicted. So really 23.9, but it's a half a second delayed. So really, yeah, I mean, this is a 23.9. Well, it's definitely still a 23. If I left at the right time and I didn't sit on the wall, then it would have been, you know, probably 23.5 or 6 or something. But it's still 23. So this is a mystery solved because I didn't see 23 on the clock. But yeah, that's definitely not hitting. That's definitely hitting, and that's definitely 24. Okay, good. So that's definitely a 23, and that was a pretty late start. So let's do number 5 now. I only saw a 25 on this one, but then again, I wasn't trying to watch the clock anymore because I know I'm recording. So I was just focusing on a good finish. You know, and it's a lot more easier to finish with paddles on because you just glide a lot more, so it feels better to not have to take that extra stroke. Okay, so we're going to count that because we see the clock moving. 176 is the 0, and let's go. I kick off the wall for sure right here. So that's 5-3. 9. So that's a little more than 3/10 of a second, but we'll count that as an extra 3/10. So again, these are all pretty slow, but we'll figure out how to do a proper push off. And this is is it a 24? 20 what? Okay, so 23. Oh, I see the paddle, and that's when it turns to 24 right here. Okay, so that's definitely a 24, but how 24 is it? I don't think that's touching. This is definitely touching. So 6, 3, 3. So that is a 24 and about a half, maybe a little bit less, 24 and a half, 0.3. So this is definitely a 24. So really, the first one might have been a 22, how we're counting those starts. The rest of them were 23, and this is 24. That's good. That's very good. I didn't feel 100% today in terms of, sometimes you can feel when you're like gliding with these paddles on, you're just like gliding on top of the water, But this is good. This is good because especially if we standardize when we push off the wall and how exactly I'm counting it, at least it's an apples to apples comparison later on. And I think I'm taking it a little more seriously when it's being televised like this. It's just a little more serious. And I also have a good system now. I just have a metal water bottle that the camera rests against. So that way, it's getting, everything we need. So the boomer teching is hopefully gone. And it's really giving us when I touch and with this video pad program, I can, at least within a close tenths of a second, we can examine that, and that's pretty good. And again, these are without a dive because you don't want to hurt your hand when you're diving, with paddles on because they'll like break off or something. But yeah, I mean, now the start's weird. Do you count it? Do you start moving into it on the 0? Or do you push off? Do you want to make sure you're still on the wall when it's a 0? These are questions that will never be resolved, but this is how we're going to count it from now on. It's a good dive, or it's a good push off if I'm still on the wall when it's 0. And we can kind of adjust for ourselves how short, because the worst one here was a 0.5, which is like, well, again, the first one was like a 0.3, so it could have been a 22 something, right? Yeah, that's a 22. The first one's a 22 if we count that as a proper start. So, but so that's it. Pushing myself a little bit once or twice a week is pretty good. That's really my strategy. I don't do massive stroke work or massive distances. I just do 3, 4, 5 of these, sometimes just like one sprint. And that's it. So I don't know if I'm getting, I know I'm getting faster because I do have some times and stuff from a while back. I never took photos or videos, but I just know these 23s are good. 20, maybe 22s, they're really good. They're getting good. They're getting good. So I think just, it's sort of like with the high intensity exercise, with reps if you're doing weights, which I don't. But, it's just that intensity. You don't have to do massive volumes. And same thing with sprints, There's no need to do massive volumes for sprints. I always hated that in swimming. It was just really dumb. But we'll see how far this takes me, because... and these paddles are good. Now, these are the number 4 paddles. In fact, you know what? Can we do that? Let me look these up. I don't know if I've done my... Hold on. We'll bring it up. Stroke Makers paddles, and let me make sure everybody can see it here. Let's add browser, cancel, add video capture, okay, select a window, here we go. Okay, so let's add this for here for now. Let's see, Stroke Maker paddles. Here we go. So let's see here, size of products. So back in the old days, you used to have, so let's go over here. Let's go. So back in the old, size 2 used to be yellow. They mixed up some other, or Maybe that was purple or so. I don't know. I think the size 4 is what we have now. They're actually blue. They're actually blue. They're not. This might be. And coaches were always like, "Oh, you can't have anything more than a size 2." Now, coaches never like the little wrist strap. They say you to use it. I don't know. I never use wrist things on there. Maybe I should try it once or twice. I think that the coaches explained that if you just use one finger here, then you have to make sure you hold it correctly. And I don't know. Well, we might figure out the wrist stuff. I'll look that up too. But the point is, back in high school when I was swimming and thereabout, size 2 was like the biggest one you could get. It was insane. So of course I get a size 4 when I got back into it. That's old stuff. I bought a new one, but I've never tried the size 5, which are a little bit bigger. Are these the new ones? Oh, this is the new color scheme. Okay, right. This is the new color scheme because this is blue, right? But size 5 is like 10.5 by 9, but they don't have the sizing for the other one. I don't know why they don't have that. That's so stupid. They don't have that one. Hold on. Maybe they have it if we select that one. Blue. Nope. Why would they do that? No. Size guide. Let's do a size. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So it's 10 by 8.5, and this is 10.5 by 9. So it's not that much bigger. Now, it'd be interesting. Like, could they make a size 6 that's even bigger? Because my thinking is that really develops exactly the sort of muscles and stroke that you need for swimming. I don't know. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The issue is they are pretty flimsy. And they do, especially with all the water and everything, they do have a tendency of breaking right where you're kind of stroking on, where you're pulling on it. It gives the most stress. That's generally where it breaks, is right around the fingers, is it just kind of cracks. So I think when this cracks, I'm going to order a size 5. All right. And I think, okay, so they're saying it's green. No, the old color scheme was green. Okay. And this used to be purple, and now it's blue. Right. Anyways, so that's basically it. So this was fun. This was fun. Again, now that we have a good threshold for when we're starting, how we're doing these, if I improve and don't just plateau, we can see that. We'll be able to see that if I can kind of keep pushing this further out. And that'd be pretty interesting. So anyways, I'm going to keep doing this, and yeah, that's it.